Welcome to the Community ROI podcast. Here, senior community experts, founders, and C-level managers tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about how a community impacts business growth. By listening to these conversations, you'll get actionable steps on how to connect community goals with business goals to skyrocket business growth while still bringing extreme value to community members. My name is Yurii. I help people and brands shine through communities and personal connections. And my guest is Nicola Earle, a mission-led community builder and radiant connector who turns conversations into collaborations and brings warmth, empathy, and a little bit of generalist's magic to every relationship, making impact feel effortless and goddamn joyfully human. So, welcome, Nicola.
What a lovely introduction, Yuri. Thank you.
Always happy to talk to you. You are a great human. You are a great expert. We had community life conversation back then. It was a lot of fun. And now let's dive into professional part. I know, okay, not everything, almost everything about your personal stuff. So let's go to professional part. And the first question. So what's your definition of a community for business?
For me, it is the kind of most authentic way that a business can have a relationship with its customers. And instead of being out there just talking at them, you're actually in the room having a conversation with them, learning from them, getting all this lovely data. It's just the best, isn't it?
Sometimes it feels like you are just having fun talking to people and somehow bringing business value. Like, is it even possible? Is it a real role? Are those people exist? But yeah, looks like yes.
Yeah.
And you're proof for that. And what's your definition of a community goal?
Community goal, I would say, can be something either for the members or for the business, but it's something that you're setting out to achieve and you're tracking it and figuring out if you can get there or not.
And I'm curious, talking about the communities that you are working with at the moment or maybe worked before, what is just one goal that inspires you the most?
Well, in my current role, I run the community at Mobilize, and we are a community in the UK for people who are unpaid carers. So we have all sorts of people in there, but you might be somebody looking after a parent or a loved one or a partner or a child who may have some kind of condition. And what we're working on at the moment is really exciting because we're trying to take them on that journey, that lovely journey word that we have in community, but we're trying to take them from a place where they might be feeling a bit overwhelmed, unsure, perhaps they're new to it, perhaps they've been doing it for ages, perhaps they're lonely, and we're trying to take them to a place where they're feeling more in control of their situation. They're not feeling so overwhelmed anymore, and they're feeling supported all through the magic of community. So it's lovely, and we get really nice feedback, which is great. It's
And,
a thing to work on.
and it also sounds like a really, really good like human support because still humans are humans and they need human connections and they need conversation. And sometimes it's hard and it's getting easier when you're talking to someone who are in a similar situation or going through some kind of a similar challenge. And it's a human part. And I'm curious, how is this goal aligned with business goals?
Yeah, so well, just specifically speaking again about Mobilised and the role we're in now, we work with local authorities. So we partner with local authorities in the UK, so like councils, who will pay for the service, and then we're providing this enhanced support to the carers. So the great thing about the community is it really is quite at the heart of the business, which is lovely. And I know it's a sounds like a bit of a cliche. It's at the heart of the business, but it really is. It means we've got all of these carers that we really understand what it is that they actually need, and then we can go off and build that and make it and test it. And talk about it and feed that back to local authorities and say this is what carers are telling us. So yeah, it is the business, and just enables us to find ways to help carers digitally, because so many are kind of struggle to get out the house for various reasons, and just really need that kind of remote digital support.
I remember we had this conversation with Tim McDonald, and he was talking about the cancer support group, and like they had this non-profit organization, and he was supporting them, and he told that the main business goal was to get more and more people inside to help more and more and more people, because it was one of the goals to get this number, like quantity of members, because you show these numbers to sponsors, and then sponsors give you more money to help those people. So it was kind of like this flywheel that you need numbers and to show it to someone who can then donate money to support people who are dealing with all this crazy things in life. And I'm curious, do you have some kind of like similar metric in your work?
Yeah, exactly. We are tracking how many carers we're reaching all the time. And specifically, when it comes to community, we also break things down. And then we have subgroups where people might be located, but also what kind of specifically, like you alluded to, a similar situation they might be in. So people can connect that way as well. And yeah, I mean, the great thing about have it growing the numbers as well is you increase the chances of somebody around the country finding somebody who's in that similar situation to them, because there's a real range of members and challenges that they're facing, difference in age, difference in situations. But the more people you can bring in, the more likely they are to find that like one friend where they can go, oh, I get it. Like we get it. We're both like doing this thing, which is really nice. And also it's just that richness of conversation as well. The more kind of conversation that there is in the community and more comments, then people go in searching for something, searching for an answer, they're more likely to find it.
Am I hearing it correctly that overall this goal is to help people find someone, some kind of a friend with whom they can go through this journey together?
Yeah, certainly a bit of that. And I think it doesn't have to be that you find somebody who's exactly the same as you. Everyone's on this same journey together, this same, what they've learned to help them can be applied to different situations. So, for example, I'm good, just care a specific example might be speaking to healthcare professionals. It doesn't matter what it's about or who you are, but if you can get some advice from somebody else, if you've been perhaps not getting what you want or what you need, and somebody else says, well, this is how I approached it. This is the kind of phrase that I might use. I wrote down some notes or I wrote a letter, that kind of stuff. Then anyone can apply that.
And I'm curious, what are some of specific actions do you take to reach that goal? Because, when people are joining a community, they might be afraid, they might have this trust issues, because you never know who you meet. You need to ensure that you feel safe and trusted. So I'm curious, what are some of the actions you take to make people feel good and also to connect and to reach that goal?
Safe space, super important when people are talking about something so deeply personal, but also talking about a loved one in a personal way. That's something that kind of comes up a lot. And really, role modeling is a big one. So all of us who are in the community, all of the business, we have a very specific way that we talk. We're obviously very kind of empathetic and kind, but that's all intentional. That's something that, is discussed and learned, and we role model that. Then we also have our champions. So we have a lovely group of champions that we keep in good touch with, and those people make you their way welcome new people. They'll often be the ones jumping in and answer questions. And then we have lots of lovely content again, which has that really specific tone of voice that's very inclusive. It's all about kind of us all working together, all in it together. I think that really helps. And yeah, one of my favorite bits of feedback was that we are a nice, safe, kind version of Facebook for them. I was like,
Yeah.
good, that's the goal. We want it to be somewhere you can come away from the angry noise, and just be with others who get it.
I feel like it's also great, business quote. We like a Facebook, still we are much more safer. and
Yeah.
like, and people can have this experience. Yeah, I know what Facebook is, and I know like how crazy it can be. Still, let's try it. Let's see how it works. I feel like the whole organizations, the whole company that you are working with is the community led itself. So it's kind of like the main thing is to have this community and to help this. I'm curious, what are and are there any other teams, that you usually have in some company like marketing, sales, I don't know, product, PR, whatever. So are there any teams that you are usually working with while building this community?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all the teams really. I work really closely with marketing on content. So we have lots of lovely content as well on the website, which carers can read all kinds of guides on things that they might find helpful. And what we'll do is we'll find people within the community to contribute to those. We'll come up with kind of testimonial videos from the community. We will ask them for feedback on things we may be working on. We may ask them to vote on things. We collect a lot of data from them in our newsletters. So we'll collect lots of data on things that they might be interested in. So yeah, that's really collaborative with product as well. I mean, we'll get carers testing things for us. So as an example, we have a carers assessment tool, and most people, when they become a carer, they are entitled to an assessment which kind of identifies like what support they might need, and that's all from their local authority. So that's kind of like an additional service that we have, but all of that kind of gets tested by carers, informed by carers in the community. We're reading their posts, their feedback, seeing what's important to them. So yeah, it's super collaborative. And again, we have again with sales, I mean, it feeds into marketing really, but all that nice kind of richness of case studies and things that we have, really showing how we've helped people move them from that kind of not feeling so not in a good place to feeling much more in kind of in control, because they joined a community of people who were in the same situation, and they made some friends, and they did some stuff together and got some help, and now they're feeling good.
So what I've heard from you is that community helps a lot to marketing team by creating this user-generated content as
Yeah.
feedback or like working to maybe even together on some articles and newsletters and stuff. And also that they are testing, that are helping you to come up with new ideas, like how to make something better. And I feel like it's already a huge help, because sometimes other teams think that community want to add something to their plate, that they need something from them. But I feel like, really from personal experience, I feel like community team is not just to help external community, but to build internal community and to help also people internally as much as as we just can. And still, how do you encourage people from other teams to work with a community without not just adding some new and more work to their plates?
Yeah, more things to do. Well, when I joined actually, I pitched myself as a support function. So I said, here I am, I'm here to help you all kind of get what you need, because we've got this amazing resource of nearly 10,000 carers. And there's so much we can do with that. So like, let's work out what it is you need and squeeze it all out. And I did pinch this one from Gareth Wilson, but he has that nice diagram of
Mm.
community in the middle, and then you have your marketing, your product, your sales, your ops, all of those. And what I did is I sat down and I made my own version for each team. I said, these are the 5 things I can do for marketing. These are the 5 things I can do for sales. And I made my own version and I shared that with everybody. And I was like, these are all the things I can do. Let's have a chat and work out how we can do all these things, which are the most important. Let's get it done. And I also, off the back of that, because I like to have nice organized systems to work with, so I can structure what I'm doing, I made a scorecard. So each of the teams, so let's just take marketing as an example, has a scorecard. And I put all the things that I could do for them on the scorecard. However, I thought, let's be even more strategic with this. Let's take the company OKRs and then put them on there. And then we'll only do things that feed into those OKRs, because then, we're helping the business
Mm.
really move forward that way. We're not just doing stuff because it's nice to do. So yeah, I started doing that, and then that way you could really plot in, this is marketing's OKR, these are maybe 2 or 3 ways the community could help, and then start tracking it that way. So yeah, I did that in the last quarter, and it was really, really helpful for me to prioritize my work as well, because there's so much, we could all be doing with community. You could be doing so many programs and all these different things, but you don't want to be doing stuff that's not contributing to the business. Actually, you do want to be doing stuff that's actually contributing to the business moving forward. And this method seems to be working well.
No, it's interesting. You're pretty saying similar things that Nicole Saunders just told at the last conversation, because she also told that you have to go to the company, see what metrics they are tracking, what KPIs do they have, and then tie community metrics to their metrics, because it also helps management to see the difference. Because when you are coming up with your specific community metrics, management like, what the hell is that? What to do with this? And
Yeah.
then when you are tying, for example, your metrics to marketing metrics, they just see, oh yeah, that's how it helps marketing. Great, amazing. It's super cool. Let's go for that. And yeah, it's interesting how to approach. And still, you told that you have this 5 things of how to help each team. And I can't really say that it's very common when people are going and trying to help other teams. So I'm curious, when you do that, do they ever ask you where's the catch?
Yeah, that's a good point. Nobody has yet, but I have made a note that I need to ask people, back a little bit more, kind of invite them in to do their bit for helping the community as well, which everybody is very good at doing. But yeah, you're right. It should be that two-way thing, and bit of both, hey?
Got it. Got it. So, you know, sometimes it's still hard to bring the visibility to the community impact to the business. So I'm curious, how do you do this? How do you bring this visibility to the overall community impact on business internally?
Me, lots of sharing. We use Slack, so lots of sharing internally. Good stories, can be bad stories too. Learnings, key learnings, stuff we tried, what worked, what didn't work. Sharing metrics, sharing data to back that up. Everybody always likes to see the data behind things, don't they? And also being visible in any team meetings that you can, kind of sharing, especially sharing stories. Stories bring things to life, and community is full of people, so therefore it is full of nice people stories. And I find those really do resonate a lot when you can share a really lovely people story. People remember it. Um,
Hmm.
and that kind of builds those relationships and those bonds, I think, between the community and the business. People start to go, that person where that happened to them, that was really nice. And then you might see them pop up again, and they start to build a relationship with them as well.
I feel like you're also becoming a good storyteller by doing that.
Yeah, definitely. It helps you refine your storytelling skills for sure. Yeah.
And still, it's always easier to share good stories. And we both know that community is not always a bright side. There is always a dark side. And you told about this, sharing like bad things, that's something that didn't work. So I'm curious, how do you do this?
I mean, I'm not afraid of sharing, failures, as long as you're sharing what you've learned from it. So I will, quite openly share something that didn't go so well as well, but you always have to make sure that you're not just sharing it and then putting a full stop. You're sharing it and then you're saying, and this is what I have learned, and this is what I would do perhaps next time, or this is why I won't do this again, kind of really hammering in on that learning side as well.
It's fun. I sometimes when I'm meeting people and I tell a little bit of my story, and I tell that I was doing communities for like 10 years so far, and 6 of them without even knowing that it's called community building. So I've made every mistake possible and keep repeating them from time to time to have this lesson better learned. And I feel like it's always about going that way that you've just explained. And if you have a mistake and you are sharing it with someone and they're like, sounds really bad, like why we are paying them money for doing this stuff of thing, but it's always about like turning into a lesson learned, or turning it into an actionable step, or turning it into something that you can prevent in the future. To a point, that's how we learn, because otherwise we can't. So
Exactly. And I think it's kind of leads into it being a really good reminder to always test things in community building. Not think, oh, this program's going to work great and
Mm.
go off and set up all these events and make some nice graphics before you've actually tested it with a small group of your community or somehow done a mini version of something. So, we're quite hot on that, always doing like, what's the smallest way we can test this out, see how it lands with people before we go off and make it into something bigger. I think that's a smart approach as well. And then when you're sharing things that don't go so well, at least you can say, well, we just did this little, we just spent a little bit of time on it. And now we know not to spend hours and hours on that.
I feel like it's also about the expectations that you said, and
Mm.
the higher the bars are, the higher to fall. So, and I'm curious, do you use AI in your community building process? It's like a hot topic. So,
Mm.
how do you deal with that?
I know. It feels like, I can't remember life before AI. These days.
Long, long
But
time
yeah,
ago.
yeah. I use it a lot personally for kind of ideation, checking my grammar, that kind of stuff. And then so Mobilize is on the Circle platform, and
Mhm.
Circle has a fair few AI features. It's interesting. So we have a community who um, at one end, they kind of embracing and loving AI. So we did a workshop a couple of months back, um, showing carers how they could use AI, for example, to write a complaint or
Mm.
to let out their emotions, but then get it turned into something more constructive, or to plan meals, for the week with people having different dietary needs and all these
Mm.
different things. And some loved it, and some were using it even more creatively than we'd thought about, and then some
Yeah.
absolute distrust. So I think it's really understanding, isn't it? Like starting to, as you start to build these things in, it's interesting what's coming back. But yeah, back to the features that we're using. So we did one or two we kind of turned on and then had the feedback, oh, we don't like this, and turned it off because I think it took out some of the humans. So as an example, there's a feature that summarizes comments
Mm.
on a post, and everybody said, no, we want to read everyone's comments. But I can see how that would work really well for a technical community, for example, where you're just kind of like, I want to learn how to do this thing, just give me the summary. But we're
Yeah.
talking about people, emotions, their lives. It wasn't appropriate. But then another use is there are these AI agents. So it's a bot. You can train it on whatever you want to train it kind of within the community or upload things. You can train it on kind of what result you want it to give and the tone and the language. So the way we chose to use it was as a matchmaking tool.
Mm.
People are encouraged to write in, this is my situation, so, and then it will match them with others. And it was actually really, really nice. Somebody went in and put in this really specific condition of the person they're caring for, and I was thinking, oh, I haven't heard of that. Like, is there going to be anyone here with somebody caring for somebody with that condition? And they found a post from like 6 months back where somebody had written an introduction with that condition, and then I was thinking, oh, is that person still active? Are they going to come and reply? And then they'd written on there, and then the other person had come back in and said hi. And
Mm.
I thought that's a really nice use case to help people find somebody they can connect with on that level in the big sea of people.
And I feel like it's a very good, valuable engagement tactics because someone
Mm.
wrote specific details about their own situations. And then like, yeah, if you're talking about the white crown, it's
Mm.
like you have to find this. And then you see another white crown coming like in 2 years and oh my God, there is someone else like me. I feel like it feels really personal because like if everyone is saying like, yeah, I'm day carer, who cares? Everyone here is like Karen. But then when you are going to the specific details, and I feel like it's a really great use of those feature.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really trying to approach, new AI features with the mindset of how is this feeling for the member at the other end, and really trying to put myself in their shoes and not just get excited by all these new features because I do love all the new features and I want to turn them all on and like do stuff, but I really think about what's in it for them, and but how is it going to feel? How are they going to experience it? Go in as a member, have an explore, test it, kind of,
Hmm.
do what's right for them.
Nicola, I wish to have the sky is limit, but time is limit to our conversation. So the final question, what is one thing to do right away for someone struggling with identifying their community ROI?
Okay, well, okay, this won't be a super short answer, but it will just be a flip back to my previous one. But draw yourself, get a piece of paper, draw you in the middle, draw all of the different business areas that you work with and figure out, how can you help them? Then go and look at your OKRs and figure out how you can plot them in as well. And I think then you've just got a recipe for success.
Last but not least, name 2 people I should reach out to talk about community ROI.
I will say Alejandra Ruiz. I've been enjoying her LinkedIn posts a lot lately, and Tom Ross.
Got it. Got it. And what is the best way to connect with you?
On my LinkedIn, you can find me Nicola Earle.
Got it. I'm connected, so it's easier for me, of course, and everyone who's listening, and go connect with Nico right away. And I feel like you brought this great mixture of human, business, and AI all together in such short amount of time, and with a lot of fun and human empathy. I don't know how you do this. Still, I enjoyed a lot of our conversation. I got great ideas of how to use AI in my personal journey with the community and how to feel a little bit more like how to kind of humanize these tools in the world. So yeah, Nicola, thank you so much for having this conversation and for sharing your experience.
My pleasure. Could talk to you all day, Yurii.
Thank you very much likewise. And yeah, see you in the community world. And thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions about how the community can help you reach and overcome your business goals faster, let's connect on LinkedIn and talk about it. That's it. We're done. See you in the next episode.